What up everyone, it's TyranitarTube and welcome back to another Pokemon live discussion video. Now, details just got updated to the Pokemon Sun and Moon sites on way more than they revealed in the trailers, but they also showed us a new Japanese trailer that shows different gameplay of everything we saw in the trailers. A lot of you guys wanted me to react to it, but it's so similar to the other video that I'm going to split it and put it throughout this video as we talk about the different Pokemon. So let's start off with the new Pokemon revealed. The first Pokemon is of course Morlul. It's the illuminating Pokemon and it's of course a grass fairy type. Its two abilities are Illuminate and Effect Spore. Illuminate is a pretty useless ability. All it does is attract Pokemon to you. Now that you mention it, I'd love to have that in Pokemon Go. But Effect Spore is an ability where when you make contact with this Pokemon, I think there's a 30% chance that you either get paralyzed, poisoned, or put to sleep or something. And it's very fitting because this is a mushroom Pokemon. So Morlul are nocturnal Pokemon that walk around at night with their leg-like roots. Apparently, it doesn't like to stay in the same spot for too long since it absorbs the nutrients from surrounding plants. So I would assume that this thing plants itself literally into the ground and acts like a mushroom. And if it keeps doing this until it gets enough nutrients to evolve, then its evolution is probably gonna have like giant mushrooms. Dude, imagine like a three-headed Weezing, but in the freaking mushroom world, like a three-headed mushroom Pokemon. Look, it says here that Morlul uses its leg-like roots to make contact with its fellows and communicate with them. For some reason, they use their roots a lot like legs, and based off the way they describe it a lot of times, maybe they're hinting at this thing evolving to actually freaking like getting humanoid features. Apparently Morlul broadcasts spores that glow brightly when they burst open, and looking at these pulsing lights has a soporific effect. So this is what it does when it's trying to run away. It throws these annoying spores at you. Moving on is Pew Komoku. It's the sea cucumber Pokemon, and it has such a weird name. I think its name is a mix of like puke, mucus, cucumber? Jeez, bro. It's a pure water type. It's a perfect freaking foot. How are you a perfect foot? But anyway, it's got the ability Innards Out, which we saw in the trailer. But due to their appearance and their lifestyle, Pew Komoku are considered unappealing to tourists. I can imagine, dude. Dude, there's a part-time job consisting of chucking Pew Komoku back into the sea, available at tourist beaches. Oh, PETA's calling. But no matter how far they're thrown, Pew Komoku will always return to the same spot. This is making me feel sad, Once a Pew Komoku finds a place it likes, this is like a story. Once a Pew Komoku finds a place it likes, it won't budge from it. If someone moves it away, back it comes to the same spot. If it runs out of food to eat in that spot, it'll stay there and starve. The people of Alola found this so pitiful that they developed a tradition of chucking Pew Komoku back into the food-rich sea whenever they come across any thin-believed Pew Komoku. They did it for good. It doesn't sound good, but you did it for them. They toss these things. There's a job of tossing these guys back into the sea just because these guys are running out of food and they keep coming back to where there's no food. Pew Komoku are covered with a slippery, viscous fluid that has a moisturizing effect. Pew Komoku can stay on land for a week without drying out. The people of Alola use this fluid for skincare products. Come on, Lady Gaga, don't do it. Pew Komoku hates to have their spikes and mouth touched, and if you step on one, it'll hurl out its fist-like inner organs to strike you. So that's what Cerebi was saying before. This thing, and you saw it in the trailer too, this thing has like a claw, and it's freaking inside of it. And apparently, it's real. Let me see if it's real for sea cucumbers. I shouldn't be doing this. Wow. Pew Komoku has a new ability, Innards Out, which no other Pokemon has had before. With the Innards Out ability, when this Pokemon faints, it will be able to deal one last bit of damage to its opponent, equal to the amount of health it had before it received the final blow? Whoa! Okay, so in the trailer, we saw that this thing took a special attack and still did this aftermath effect to the opponent. So I was thinking maybe this is like Aftermath, but a special version. But the way this works, this is essentially a final gambit when you're killed. That's pretty crazy. If you die at full health, you're taking the opponent down with you. That makes this Pokemon... Wow! Dude, that changes the freaking metagame. There's an ability that makes you scared to kill a Pokemon. Just an ability. In fact, imagine training with Pew Komoku. They would just destroy your health. Just wait till they torture us in a part of the game by throwing us in like a pit of just Pew Komoku. You know what? After all that storytelling, I'm actually interested in this Pokemon. What the hell is a sea cucumber gonna become? Moving on is Wishy-Washy. So they identify it as the solo form on the site. So this is the small fry Pokemon. I think other sites called it like the weak salmon Pokemon, but the small fry Pokemon makes more sense. It's a pure water type and it has the new ability called Schooling, which again no Pokemon has had before, but it can change its form in battle on certain conditions. It doesn't tell us what the conditions, but it can change its form in battle. A single Wishy-Washy is tiny and weak, measuring just 8 inches from nose to tail. Wishy-Washy is very small even for a Pokemon, yet the people of the Alola region seem to view it as a terrifying Pokemon. Dude, what if it turns out Wishy-Washy is a freaking Timbus? Timple. What if this is just a freaking water temple and that's why everyone's freaking terrified of it? Then again, could a sea cucumber turn into an eel? When it's in danger, Wishy-Washy's glistening eyes catch the light and shine out, sending an SOS signal to its allies. It's like these guys are so weak. What if this Pokemon is so weak that it like dies in one hit? It's the only way it would make sense that it could exist as a Pokemon, but also form change into this monstrosity that's made up of like hundreds of the same Pokemon. This thing has to be like a one-hit kill, but under certain conditions, this thing can transform. Imagine if like, this is probably not what it is, but imagine if this thing is like a one-hit kill, but if it can survive just one turn, it can call for its allies and transform. So this is like a Pokemon you just gotta kill right away. You know what? That sort of fits. I'd be down for that. Now we move on to the school form. It's still the same category, type, and ability because this thing is classified as the same Pokemon. So the seemingly weak Wishy-Washy is called the Demon of the Sea because of its terrifying school form. That's why things hate it. Doesn't look like a temple. When Wishy-Washy's friends receive an SOS signal, they unite in this huge battle formation. Wishy-Washy that have encountered many dangerous situations and have a lot of experience calling on their allies will be able to emit a bright light from their eyes. They can gather allies and transform into an even powerful Pokemon. Even Gyarados flee from Wishy-Washy's school form? That is a boost! That's not true! Listen, we need the pack leader. We need the red Gyarados to beat this thing up. I hate this thing now. Seriously, it makes sense from how bulky you were in the trailer, but this is too much. We're going on. What's next? That concludes the new Pokemon that were revealed. Now we're gonna move on to the Alolan Pokemon. I guess you could consider these literally Alolan Pokemon, but let's just call them Alolan forms for now. So, Alolan Marowak is still the Bone Keeper Pokemon, and this time it is a Fire Ghost type. Whoa, so Marowak and Alolan Marowak have the same height, but Alolan Marowak is like 20 pounds lighter. Is it because you're a ghost? I have to ask with that cursed body. Now here's the thing. Alolan Marowak's two abilities. This is the most deezed Pokemon ever. Cursed Body and Lightning Rod. If this new form of Marowak was developed because of the natural predators to the normal Marowak, then why does this thing have Cursed Body and Lightning Rod? Cursed Body I get, cause maybe this thing really did come back for the dead for revenge, but Lightning Rod? You know, let's just read the description. The Marowak in the Alola region take bones and light both ends on fire by rubbing them against their foreheads. Jeez, that's where the mark came from? Marowak's rarity and its fearsome appearance when it dances with its bone led the people of Alola to dub it a conjurer and regard it with fear. Marowak's rarity. Marowak is rare in this region. There are many grass-type Pokemon. It was grass. That's why you turn into a fire. There are many grass-type Pokemon, Marowak's natural enemies in the Alola region. This makes Alola a harsh environment for Cubone and Marowak. As a result, they live in close union with their partners. It is said that their great care for their partners allowed them to gain something like a sixth sense and resulted in their changed form? This Alolan form is different. Listen, the way they word this thing's description, they make it sound like Alolan Marowak splits from the same Cubone. Seriously, it's a fire ghost type. The skull is different. Imagine if Cubone has a different change. I've said this before, but the only thing that debunks that is the fact that it shouldn't be called Marowak still. There shouldn't be a Cubone that can evolve into that Marowak or evolve into this dead ghost version Marowak and it still be known as Marowak. But I mean, if they are gonna do that, then that opens up the ideas to like Blossom becoming known as Vileplume or like an Alolan Vileplume. You never know. Not saying that they're gonna go changing things up with how they did with fairy typing, but this Pokemon right here just changed things because it seems so implied that this thing evolved from the same Cubone. Take a look at this. This is a normal Marowak. This is the freaking Flame Hell's undead ghost Marowak. Listen, let me tell you the story. The mother died, the Cubone was there, okay? And when the baby Cubone calls for its mother back from hell, she comes back as a fire ghost type. But I can't help but feel that, especially that this new Marowak can have Lightning Rod, that Marowak is useless almost. It's almost like this form really is superior to that form. It's not a difference of forms like with Exeggutor and Alolan Exeggutor. The freaking Alolan Marowak beats the crap out of the other Marowak, unless they were to fight, because ironically, the other Marowak can kick this thing's ass. Moving on is Alolan Raichu, the mouse Pokemon, electric psychic with the ability Surge Surfer. I wonder if this thing is different. So Alolan Raichu are like 3 inches shorter than the normal Raichu, and they're also like 20 pounds lighter. Seriously, I'm so surprised this thing didn't end up being an electric fairy type, especially since it would make sense in like this biological way with Pokemon like the Den existing. If all the freaking Pikachu clones that have spread throughout the different generations were somehow connected to fairy type or something. But hey, electric psychic is actually a typing I like. So the Raichu in the Alola region have 2 types, electric and psychic, because they can wield psychic power. What's more, they can gather their psychic power in their tails and then ride them to float in the air. That's how you did it. Even Pokemon researchers don't know why Raichu's form changed in the Alola region. The people of Alola seem unconcerned by the question. Their guess? Maybe it ate too many sweets and fluffy round pancakes. listen, that's not the concern right now. They're sidetracking us now, but there's something big with that. Raichu has electric sacs on its cheek, and rubbing them causes a sweet aroma to be released. No, it doesn't. It's supposed to be sparking. The mechanism behind this is not clear, but it's thought to be connected to the psychic power that Alolan Raichu possesses. So this thing really does convert over and take on these psychic attributes in the same way that Marowak turned into a fire type to fight all the obvious grass Pokemon you'd find in a tropical region. This thing turning into a psychic type might have to do with something like poison Pokemon. But of course, the Alolan Raichu has a new ability, Surge Surfer, which doubles Raichu's speed in an electric terrain. Honestly, the best thing that this tells me is that the terrain attacks may be just as big as the weather attacks. We have Pokemon that can summon the terrain when they're sent in, and we're starting to see abilities that benefit a lot more from terrains. So it's like they used Gen 6 to introduce terrains, and then they're gonna solidify them in Gen 7. It's gonna be cool to have weather on one end and then the field on another end. Check out that comparison. So look at this. You can tell the best thing here is that Raichu in the gameplay just floats. It's literally just surfing all day in the air, but this Raichu is hands-on. It's on the ground. It's running all over the place. I think the split line is gonna be Alolan Raichu is a special attacker, while the original Raichu retains being that mixed attacker. Moving on is Alolan Meowth, the freaking Scratch Cat Pokemon. So Alolan Meowth actually have the exact same height and weight as the other Meowth. That has to say something about the way it evolved, but it has the two abilities Pickup and Technician. All you need is Persian to get that Technician, and it's gonna be a solid Pokemon. But that Pickup, I'll take in the early game. You can pick stuff up. So Meowth is a Pokemon that did not originally live in the Alola region. They were sent to the royal line as an offering from another region, and only a select few could have them as partners. Bruh, that's cruel! The Meowth and Alola are distinct for their cunning and great pride. Two things they really hate: a wound to their pride and dirt on their coins. It's said that a Meowth that was offered to the royal family lived a life of luxury and pampering, which led to have a selfish and prideful attitude. This caused Meowth's form to change. We've been seeing a different cause for form change within these last few Pokemon. They really make it sound like these Pokemon change their form through some sort of emotion. So Cubone feels this certain emotion when its mother's gone, and that caused it to evolve into this fire ghost type. Meowth changes its entire way of living, so it lives out these different emotions, but it's only like that for some Pokemon. With like Exeggutor, it just got exposed to more sunlight, so it grew more. It grew like a palm tree. The once rare Alolan Meowth became feral when the monarchy was destroyed, and they have now become regular Pokemon seen as commonly in the Alola region as elsewhere. Listen, they did not write something like that if they didn't know what they meant by the royal family and all that. Their offerings and stuff, this has to be something related to the Alola region. There's a forbidden island. There could be sacrificial things going on. I don't know, but that's cruel, Meowth. At first, I was gonna feel bad for every Meowth I found, but nah. You're free now. I think it's cool though. You can go through the game, and when a Meowth appears, it's not gonna feel like other games. And the way it works, there's probably not gonna be normal Meowth in the game. Like, you could see a comparison here. Your mom is probably the only person with a normal Meowth in this game. She probably has like big praise for it because they've never seen a freaking happy Meowth. Like, look, imagine you live in a world where all the Meowth look like this, and then someone pops up with a Meowth like that. Yeah, that looks cute as hell. I'm keeping it. You know, it actually got the tail of a Mankey. Why do you have the tail of a Mankey? But it's just cool to see that these guys are going to be common Pokemon, but when you encounter them, they're going to be these dark types, and they're going to feel different. And in the future, when you trade these guys to some other region where they may even have some exclusive form, it's going to stay an Alolan Meowth. They haven't incorporated yet, obviously, because this is the first Gen 7 game, and the only game that's compatible with this is the Red, Blue, and Yellow on the Virtual Console, which may be the only way to get original forms like Meowth and all that. But that is indeed everything on those new Pokemon. Now, I did want to talk about Team Skull, but there's actually a lot that I want to properly cover, so the video will come out after this, but till then, I want you guys to let me know what you think about these Alolan Pokemon. What's going on with their form change? Because some of them evolve to climate change or to lifestyle change, but some of them just change upon reaching like a certain emotion. When they talk about offerings and all this stuff, I know there's a big piece that all this can fit into, so let me know any thoughts you have on that in the comments, and as always guys, keep playing, keep laughing, and keep believing. See you in the next video. Peace.